Hi guys, welcome to your third lesson. We call this one Scales for Whales, and you're soon going to see why. But before we get into what this lesson has for us, we're going to review what we went over in the last lesson. We're going to review our challenge, and that was the C major scale. So all I'm going to do is play it, and if you want to play it with me, that's cool, it's grand, it's great. Hope you can play it. Better be able to play it. So here we are. So we start at C, move to D, E. We do a little crossover. Our thumb goes under our middle finger to F, G, A, B, and C. And then all we do is come back down the same way. C, B, A, G, F, crossover, E, D, and C. So now what I want to go over with you guys is just finger positions and what those are to a keyboard player. So if you guys look in your folders, you should find a finger positions handout. It basically has all of the major scales on it with a bunch of random numbers over the notes. Has a bunch of numbers, bunch of notes on it. Kind of looks confusing. Pull that out and I'm going to explain exactly what that is. So basically when you play a scale, the way we taught you to play the C scale, you know, with... That's not something we just made up. That's actually how you play the scale. And how we play scales, how we teach to play, how we're going to teach you to play scales is finger numbers. I call them finger numbers, finger positions, whatever you want to call them. So basically how you played the C scale, and if you look on that sheet, you'll see that it says this. Remember, we're playing it for right hand only right now. So right hand, you'll look on the sheet and it says 1 for C, 2 for D, 3 for E. Then it's going to repeat 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So basically what that means is that your fingers all have a number assigned to them, 1 through 5. And it's the same for your left and right hand. So your thumbs are 1, pointer fingers are 2, middle fingers are 3, ring fingers are 4, and your pinkies are 5. So basically, when you look on that sheet, it tells you how to play the scale. So like for C, it says, on your right hand, it says 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, that's telling you what fingers to play with. So it's saying 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, if that makes sense. So that's what that sheet is. And now I'm going to introduce something else to you. All this is going to come together at the end, I promise. So if you look in your folder, there is a sheet that looks like a circle with a bunch of letters and numbers on it. It's a big circle. It says circles of fifths at the top. Circle of fifths. So I'm going to explain what that is for you guys. And basically, it kind of looks like a clock, and that's how I'm going to explain it. Basically, it's a way of naming all the major scales, and in this curriculum, we're going to follow that circle of fifths when we teach you scales. So basically, what it does is it names each scale by the fifth. In scales, the letters, what am I trying to say? The notes are numbered. That's exactly what I'm trying to say. So like for C, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is your fifth note in the scale, and you'll look that down from C, like think of C as the 12 on the clock. If you go from the 12 and go towards the 1, like clockwise, G is in that position, and that's the fifth note in this scale. So the circle of fifths just continues by naming the fifth of each scale. So I'm not going to teach you guys the G scale in this lesson, but just for reference, I'm going to teach you guys all these fifths. So you have C, and then you have the fifth note in the C scale, which is G. So that's the next scale on your circle of fifths. And then count up from G in the G scale. This is the fifth note. So your next scale on that circle is in D, and it goes so on and so on, and we're going to get more into that once we teach you more scales, but just know for now that sheet names each scale based on the fifth, and it's just like a pattern. It's like a domino effect. So right now, what I'm going to teach you guys is a major scale. We're going to teach you guys another major scale, and on your vocab sheet, this is when you'll see major scale defined for you guys. I'm actually going to define it and teach it. So major scale is a scale consisting of a series of whole steps and half steps between the third and the fourth and the seventh and the eighth notes in the scale. That's a crazy definition, but I'm going to explain it to you guys. So every major scale that we're going to teach you has this certain pattern to it. Even though each scale is going to use different keys and it's going to be completely different, they each follow a similar pattern. So what that pattern is whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step. And I'm going to explain this to you with the C scale since you already know it. So like Anthony mentioned in the previous lesson, that C to C sharp is a half step, and then C to D is a whole step. So let's take the C scale. For example, you have C to D, whole step, that's one whole step. D to E, that's one whole step. Then you have E to F. You're not skipping a note in between them. So this is a half step. You have a half step, and then you have 3 whole steps. Whole step, whole step, whole step, and then you have a half step, B to C. So each, I wish I had a piece of paper to write this down for you guys, but it should be in that folder. So like I said, you have 2 whole steps, 1 half step, 3 more whole steps, 1, 2, 3, and then you end on a half step. And every major scale you do is going to follow that pattern. If you remember that, then your major scales will come much easier to you when you're memorizing them. So now in this, I'm going to teach you guys the F scale. We're not necessarily following the circle of fifths exactly, but we just picked the F scale because it's an easy scale, and it's much like C. There's just one small difference. So each scale is a key. It's like a key of its own, and it represents different notes. So the F scale, it's not going to use all just white keys. It's actually going to introduce one black key. And I'm gonna first play it for you guys, and then I'm going to explain it. So you have the F scale is F, G, A, B flat, C, D, E, F. And you just come back down the same way you came. F, E, D, C, B flat, A, G, F. So that is the F major scale, and I'm going to kind of go more in detail with you guys with this. So the F scale on your right hand, I'm going to teach you on your right hand first, and then we're going to introduce the left hand, kind of challenge you guys a little bit. So the F scale, you play this in finger numbers, in your finger positions. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So just kind of hang with me here. You have 1, 2, 3, 4. Cross under, that is a big jump, but you can do it. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you just go 4, 3, 2, 1, 4, 3, 2, 1. 4, 3, 2, 1. 4, 3, 2, 1. And that is the F scale on your right hand. Don't forget about that one black key. I know it's kind of weird, kind of out there, but that is the F scale. And I'm going to teach it to you guys on your left hand as well. Okay guys, I'm going to teach you the F scale on your left hand now. It's kind of different from the right hand, but not too much. You can do it. So basically what we have is I'm just going to play it for you guys once through so you can kind of get the feel for it. So F, G, A, B flat, C, D, E, F, and back down. So that is the F scale on your left hand. So I'm going to give you guys the finger numbers for this, and this is on that sheet in your folder as well. So if you forget, reference that and it will guide you the right way, promise. So here we are. So this one, you're going to notice your left hand is kind of backwards from your right hand when you're doing scales. So instead of starting on, your thumb, obviously you're going to start on your pinky. So basically, it's going to be 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You're going to do a crossover like you do in the C scale. And you're going to go to 3, 2, 1. And now you're just going to go back down the same way you came. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that is the F scale on your left hand. So your challenge for this week is not only to play the F scale on both hands, with a steady tempo, with no mistakes. That's part of your challenge. But the second part of your challenge is we're going to introduce the C scale to you guys on your left hand, so that way you know the C and the F scale on both hands. Learning scales on both hands is important. You need both hands to play, so you got to train both hands, not just your dominant hand. So I'm going to teach you guys the C scale on your left hand. It's much like your right, except really just backwards for the C scale. So I'm going to play the C scale for you once and then go over the numbers. So C, D, E, F, G. You're going to cross over with your middle finger to go to A, B, C, and then back down. C, B, A, cross over to G, G, F, E, D, C. Okay, so now here's the numbers. So you're going to start your 5 on your pinky. You're kind of going to go backwards with your left hand. I know it's going to feel weird, but this is how you play it for sure. So you're going to go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Cross over back to your third middle finger. 3, 2, 1. And then 1, 2, 3. Cross over to your thumb, your one finger. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that is your challenge for you guys. I challenge you guys just to have these memorized on both hands, steady tempos, no mistakes, really have them mastered. And with the end of that challenge, that is the completion of your third lesson as a worship keys player. Good job, guys. Hey guys, I'm going to explain the circle of fifths a little bit in more detail just to give you guys a better understanding of what exactly it is. So like I said earlier, it names all the major scales, and it starts with C. Like I said with keyboard, like C is like your center of everything. So the arm, think of it as a clock. So like the arm starts at C, it starts at 12. And when you go, when you go clockwise, you add a sharp. So you'll notice that when you're looking at C and you go clockwise, there's G. And the major G scale has one sharp. So when you're back at C and you look counterclockwise to F, you'll notice that F has one flat. So when you go counterclockwise, it adds a flat to every single scale. And then when you go clockwise, it adds a sharp to every single scale. So eventually they meet up, and we'll go over that. But remember, clockwise, you are focusing on flats. You are adding, you're focusing on sharps. You're adding sharps, and then counterclockwise, you're adding flats.